1, 2, 3, 4.
And welcome back to another episode of
Sunday.
Breakfast with Brothers. Sunday. Grave digger.
Breakfast with Brothers.
Breakfast with Brothers. You heard it
But
here
seriously,
first, folks.
We're here, we're there, we're over, up, and down, and through the stairs.
We're
We've
everywhere.
even floated before, but we're back again. The Breakfast Brothers. The duo. The trio. The quadruplet. The fivelet. The sixlet. All of us are here today. Thank you for coming out. Thank you for listening this far, because if you've gotten this far, we're almost to 50. Celebration coming soon. Giveaway coming soon. Stay tuned. If you're not listening, you're missing out. What are we talking about today, champion?
Dude, we are talking about streaming services today.
Ooh. So what does that mean for all the viewers wondering what we could be talking about?
So, you guys ever hate how, you go to watch some TV, like you load up, let's just say you load up Hulu, right? You turn on Hulu and you're like, damn, I ain't got nothing to watch on this. So then you're like, okay, well, let me go check Netflix. And you go over to Netflix and you scroll for like 20 minutes. And you're like, damn, I'm not seeing anything I want to watch. And then like, you know what? Let me go to Max. And then you go over to Max and you're looking around. Still nothing to watch. Like millions upon millions of shows you just scrolled through. And you still couldn't find anything to watch. And then what do? You go over to YouTube. Or, scratch YouTube, you go over to Crunchyroll. And you're like, nothing I want to watch. So what do? You got all these streaming platforms, and what do? So really, we're just talking about like what we like about streaming services and all that.
But on that note, I will say streaming services, I feel like enough people know what's going on with it. We have grown up, at least people who are in and around our age, we grew up with cable and having to scroll endlessly through channels looking for something we wanted to watch. For
Right.
me, I always landed, when I was a kid, I always landed on Nickelodeon or Cartoon Network or Disney Channel. And then as I grew up, I started watching stuff on like PBS. I also started watching stuff on like the Discovery Channel, AMC, stuff like that. Comedy Central was a big one that came into play. And those were like the classic mix-ins where if something wasn't on this channel, then I could just go and check out this channel. Just channel jumping, checking out stuff while things were on commercial, etc. The list goes on. I'm sure you guys could have a little feeling of what I'm talking about. But now we've entered the era where everything's on demand. You could watch whatever the heck you want. Of course, pending advertisements. Don't mind the ads. Don't worry, we won't get you with them. But it's one of those things where you're pretty much on demand, regardless. And what Ian's talking about, it made me think of what the heck is the word? It's like something overload. Maybe it's stimulus overload. Maybe
Sensory overload.
Sensory overload. Thank you very much. Where it's just there's so much that you have available at your hands, or in this case your eyes, that it's just way too much for you, and there's nothing you can decide on because everything's good, or you've seen everything, or at least if you think you've seen everything, it's just you've seen everything that's good to you, in your opinion. And
Right.
I've struggled with that so much. So I mean, I don't know. I'm sure you're in the same boat occasionally, but I feel like I try to find and listen to recommendations and, wonder what other people are watching. And I try not to fall trap to there's nothing to watch, because why am I going to complain? I got so much to choose from. And of course, that's the foot in the right side bucket, the optimistic side, you could say.
Yeah, I mean, obviously everyone runs into that same issue. I haven't met too many people out there. Of course, you have people that just like, okay, I'm going to start this new show because like I got nothing else I'm really like heavily watching, and they'll
Right.
do it. Sometimes it takes a lot for me to get like interested in something. And usually when I'm recommended something, it's like I'll try it out, and majority of the time I'll enjoy what I'm watching. Like I'll get hooked by at least something in the first 2 episodes. But if like nothing really catches my eye, or like I'm really interested in it in like the first couple of I'd say about 3 or 4 episodes, and it's like, okay, this is a slow roller.
Right.
Unless I was told, like, just wait. But if it was just a new show I'm starting out from what I chose, like, it's gonna be like, I don't know about this kind of thing. But with that in mind, it's like, for focusing more into like the actual streaming platforms, I have a bunch that I watch, and I guess we can start with like listing out ones that we use, or at least
Yeah.
like ones that we find we like. Um, so I'll just continue with it. Like I use like HBO. It's not HBO Max anymore. It's just Max. I
Is
use
that your main though?
Max.
Like if you went and pulled up your smart TV console, whatever you're watching on, is HBO Max like your main? Is that your go-to, or is that just an example that you're throwing out first?
That's just an example I'm kind of throwing out first. It is like one of my main ones that I use. Like there's some shows that I like to watch, and there like it has a lot of the Adult Swim shows, which is
Yeah.
nice.
Yep.
Um, so it's kind of used like I use it right now for like South Park, and then I was watching like Smiling Friends.
Oh, right,
Um,
right, right.
but I finished that. Up a little bit ago now. But
I was
Max is
kind of on
just
that
like one
same
of the
trend with
things.
Max too. Max for me first was Game of Thrones. So
Mm. Yeah, I didn't get it. I got it a lot later than that all happened. Kind of when it turned more into just Max. Actually, I had it right before it turned over to Max. It was still HBO Max when I first started using it.
I remember
But
when it was
yeah,
just
no,
HBO for a hot minute, and then they threw in the
yeah,
Max, and it was like, whoa! Now they're a streaming service. Now they're beefing up the game. And then when it turned Max, I was like, what? What is this?
yeah. I wish they would have just kept like HBO Max. I don't know.
Yeah,
It
like,
just like not a fan of just the word Max. I don't know. I don't like it.
well,
Maybe they're trying
just
to like
like every other
delineate between
service,
like
they
their
threw
channel.
what?
Oh, sorry, I lost you a little bit.
I
Um,
was I stopped talking because you were talking about Max. I was just comparing it to the rest of the services that throw a plus. Like for example, when it used to be a cable network, it
oh
would just
yeah,
be the name. So it would be Paramount. That channel would have a whatever.
yeah,
Um,
Paramount Plus,
HBO would be its own channel. Um, Disney used to be its own channel.
Disney
Now it's
Plus. Yep.
Disney Plus, HBO Max. Now weirdly Max, whatever. That's then it's in its own
Right.
category. Paramount Plus. And I know with Hulu and Netflix they have like certain subscription tiers you could buy into, but they're
Hmm.
basically on the wave. Netflix never existed, as a channel. Netflix, I remember back when they used to send like the Redbox stuff. I know Redbox is a different brand, but they would send videos in the mail and stuff like that, akin to like what Blockbuster would do, like from a physical standpoint. And
Hmm.
that early Netflix was what really stemmed into a super evolved look of what Netflix is now. So I mean, of course, it's come a long way. We pay a lot of money for a lot of BS with Netflix now, but that's something we'll
Yeah.
talk about on the hate side of things. Um, but more so, back to what we were saying with Max. Dumb name, great shows. I mean, what else do they got? I feel like Max was one of those. It's pretty reliable. I feel like whenever I get on there, I can usually find something I want to watch.
I mean, they have pretty good movies. I haven't really. I
Mm.
shouldn't. I can't really speak on it too much, but I feel like
I
every
was gonna
time
say
I've
I've
gone
watched
on
two
there,
movies on there.
yeah, like every time I've gone on there to look for a movie, majority of the time they actually do have it. At least the one I'm thinking about. Um, as well as like having a decent selection. Like I've gone through the
Yeah,
selection before, um, within like the past year, we'll say. Like just as a background, I don't watch too many movies by myself or in general. Um, but like from this past year of just having whatever they have now, it's been a pretty good selection. Like
yeah.
in all honesty, I can look through and find a decent amount of movies that I would watch or would rewatch, like that I wouldn't mind rewatching.
Yep,
Um,
yep.
so like,
Again, on demand. Don't have
yeah,
to worry about looking for it elsewhere or paying for it, renting it. So,
yeah, yeah. I don't really. Well, I guess I'll kind of continue here. Like, I don't really use Netflix all that much. I have it, but I don't really like go on it. In my in my travels. But I would definitely say I'd use, what else do I use? Hulu. Hulu's a big one for me. I currently don't have it on my PlayStation, as that's what I'm using because I don't have my big smart TV here. But like Hulu is like a heavy rotation for me. It's usually Max, Hulu, Crunchyroll, and YouTube for me.
It's a good rotation. I mean, YouTube is nice. I don't pay for what is it now? YouTube TV or YouTube Plus?
No,
I
yeah,
don't even
no,
know
I
what they're
don't.
thinking.
I just have a YouTube account where I just watch, whoever I'm subscribed to.
Yeah, free videos. The most basic YouTube
Yeah.
availability, or I should say accessibility, is plenty fine. I don't think I'd ever buy into YouTube TV or anything. I mean, maybe if I decided to get rid of every other streaming service I had, because I think YouTube TV would be able to not only do what I want as far as like short videos, long, weird how-to videos and everything in between, and then also television. Like that would probably be the perfect combination. But I just don't know what that
Yeah.
looks like because I don't think I'd ever buy into it. But that's also because I'm chilling with, like you said, your four, was like the Hulu, Max, Crunchyroll, and YouTube, right? So like for
Yeah,
me, my
those are
four
pretty much my rotation.
it would be like Netflix, Peacock, um, Hulu, and I guess Max. But we don't use Max enough right now because we finished like our Game of Thrones binging, and like I'm not
Right.
watching a lot of South Park right now. Like the big thing is we had finished The Bear on Hulu, so that was why Hulu was in rotation. Right now, Netflix for Hunter, and then there was some other dumb shows we were watching, some like reality TV. And then I wish I could remember the other show. But it's, one of those things. I feel like Netflix has always been like okay, I don't want to say reliable, but I'm going to say it. Has been a reliable streaming
Don't.
service for me
Don't
as
you
far
say it.
as just what I can
Don't do it.
watch. But not reliable at all. Not reliable at all in the sense of pricing month to month or availability for screen sharing, which was a huge
Mm-hmm.
kick in the pants.
Yep.
Or well, that's the two big ones. Everything else is reliable as far as like Netflix originals, fantastic. Every Netflix original I've ever seen, amazing, super well done.
Yeah.
And then I can't say anything bad about their movies. They always have some random dumb movie that I can throw on that I'm just like, yeah, I'll throw this on, whatever. And I'm always satisfied. It just works out.
Yeah, I don't know. The Netflix originals, I feel like I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it more of like their own,
Yeah, be
like,
their own
I don't know.
channel, their own creators, their own
Yeah,
producers.
exactly. Which I do like. I do like that concept. I don't know, maybe I think of like original Netflix where it's just like a load of everything. Like they're getting all the new stuff, like everything's being put on. And it's not just like their own, which is fine. There's I don't even know how to like say it. I'm not a huge fan of like all the Netflix originals. But I do like the
No, I
idea
got
of
you.
what they're
Well, the
doing.
two big
Yeah.
ones that like come to me off the top of my head that I really liked were A Queen's Gambit, excellent,
Mhm.
and then I think Umbrella Academy is also a Netflix original, also excellent. So
Those are really
I'm
two
trying
good
to
ones.
think. I can't remember. Anyone listening, don't quote me on this. If Ozark was a Netflix original, then I soar above the clouds for Ozark because that was a very well done show. And those three
Let's
alone,
see.
show me that Netflix originals can can be very well done, and it's just a matter of them putting their name on it. I wouldn't say that Netflix is going to go and try to rub it in other people's faces that they've made these good shows or anything. But it just goes to show that as a streaming service, they have some type of purpose behind just going and buying out other companies, to stream their content.
Right.
So I'd like to be able to see Max, or I don't know if Hulu has originals. If they don't, it would be nice to see them do the same, or even Peacock. Bring stuff that their conglomerate companies are coming together to make for that streaming service's original. Not that I'm
Right.
trying to say everyone should be like Netflix, but it would be cool to see all these companies bring together something that is a new show, something that's different, something that's not a rerun, something that's not like an old school. Oh, we bought out, NBC, for example. Here's all of NBC shows. Like, yes, that's nice. Like, we get to watch those shows from back in the day, or current modern shows that are streaming via people who are actually paying for cable still. That's fine. That works. But it's also nice to be able to see original content come out of these services that you don't get to see on the other platforms.
Right. Yeah, and I think that's like I said, I'm not trying to bash what they're doing. Um and I know you're not taking it as that, but like
No, I got
I
you.
don't know.
Let it fly.
I think maybe it's when like they first started it. It was a little rough to get go.
Yeah,
I'm
it
trying to
was.
think, but for the most part, like they've put out some really good ones because like obviously I don't know if people have watched Cobra Kai. That's a Netflix original. Because
Did you
I was
just
just
Google some of them?
I was gonna say I just looked through a couple of things trying to remind myself of what there was, because they do have a lot and like they've gotten much better through the years. But I think it's just maybe the overload of it for me, like just all it's like it seems like it's all Netflix originals sometimes. Um, you know what I mean? Uh,
I mean, I do feel that, but once you do like jump down the rabbit hole of originals,
right,
you find that a lot of them are like really well done. Because
right,
some of them will take you a while to get through. Like for me, it took like I'm trying to think of the last show that took me a while. Um, Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul took me forever. It felt like
yeah,
years went by, and realistically, I think it took me six or 7 months because I was taking my time. But it's one of those things where there's so many seasons. The episodes are an hour long ish, and when you're watching stuff that's an hour long a piece, and you can only put down an episode a night. Sometimes you can't even do it every night. It just is like, oh, I'm dragging it out. Um, so I don't know. A lot of the originals will end up like that, or even other
well,
shows that are long, just in general. So
well,
I hear you when it becomes
those
like
two
that
shows. Wait,
build
hold
up.
on. Those two shows are not Netflix originals.
Oh, I know they're not, but I was just
Oh,
exempling
okay,
like
okay.
long
No,
shows
that's fine.
because I
Okay,
know
no,
they're both long in season and long per
yeah,
episode.
yeah, that's okay. Sorry, no, I thought you were saying those two were. Apologies.
Yeah, I think Breaking Bad and Better Call Saul are AMC or something like that.
Yep, AMC. I think it's AMC originals. I think that's what they say.
Uh,
Um, but yeah, no, I mean, like you'll obviously, yeah, with the originals in general, like most of the shows will run for about like what 45 minutes per
yeah,
episode. So like, I think was Peaky Blinders a Netflix original?
I know it was on Netflix. I just don't know if it was original. If it was, another amazing show
Yeah,
on the list
like
of
that's a
originals.
great show. Let's
Did
see.
you finish it?
I did.
Did you cry? I definitely cried.
You
Maybe not at
you
the end, but
cried?
I cried a couple times, like in the middle somewhere.
I did. Yeah, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't know if I cried at any point of it. It is a Netflix original.
Is it?
Netflix original, yeah.
Yeah, that's nuts.
So,
Okay, so
okay.
that just added to
See,
the list.
see, this is why I'm saying like I can't necessarily like say that I outright hate it because they do make good shows that I've enjoyed and watched. Like
Right.
I was like hooked on Peaky Blinders for like a solid like 2 weeks, and I finished it. And there's like 5 seasons, but I mean like
Once me and Meg started like getting into it, we were binging a few episodes because it just got good to the point where it was like, well, I don't
yeah.
want to stop on that dumb cliffhanger. Let me roll into the next. And of course, every episode's like an hour long, so it's just like, oh,
Yeah, no, that was like a show that I couldn't stop watching for a little. There's a couple of slow-paced episodes, but I think it all really was just paced well in general. Um, but so if you guys haven't watched Peaky Blinders, please watch Peaky Blinders. Really good show. I think
big time
anyone could
recommend.
probably enjoy it. Yeah, I think everyone will enjoy it. Um, but yeah, so that's why I say I can't really hate on it. It's just like I think there's just too many, but I also enjoy the ones that they put out because I've enjoyed Netflix originals. So I can't be a
Absolutely.
hater and a lover, you know.
It's just how it goes, man. But that's part of the good and the bad. like we were talking earlier, where we have some very easy good to talk about, which just makes sense with some of the services, but it's also
Right.
very easy to trash them, with some of their uh their downfalls, I guess you could say. Like with
Yeah.
Netflix, I was already talking a little bit about their unreliability for screen sharing, and being able to share accounts. Because you used to be able to, split with your buddies, split with your family, and not have to worry about anything. You could be on, whatever it is, two, three different households and not have to worry about it. And now,
Yeah.
all you can do is exist on one network, whatever, one Wi-Fi network, and we can log into a couple devices here, which is nice. They don't say it's one device driven, which if they do, holy cow, then I'm definitely going to be boycotting Netflix. But we're to the point where, it is still a bit of an inconvenience. And then, of course, the
Yeah.
what was the other thing I was saying? The unreliability of screen sharing, and then there was something else that just really peeves me, as far as Netflix goes. Um,
Is it like the subscription like levels?
oh yes, yeah, the tiers, the subscription tiers, and that's not just Netflix. Hulu
Yeah.
does it too. You could pay for avoiding ads. You could pay for a premium subscription package that gives you a little bit more access to certain things. Netflix is in
Right.
a similar light too. Oh, pay this price for this amount of screens in the home, or oh, pay this price to have this and reduced, what the heck ever. And it's just like I get it, but also at the same time, I feel like with Netflix, the direction they're going, they're just trying to grab whatever they can as far as, trying to make as much money as possible, which I get.
You
Business
you know
America,
what?
capitalist America, do your thing, blah, blah, blah. But also look out for us too. Like you've been holding it
Yeah, I
down
was gonna
since the
say.
beginning. Like don't become the reason. I should say not the reason. Don't become the platform that starts the hate train. All these streaming services popping up and offering their own content, and the continual separation of where you can watch certain shows and channels and stuff like that. It's getting to be a lot. Like after I started seeing Paramount pop up, HBO changed into Max, Disney Plus started just buying out companies to add whatever the heck they could onto their platform. And then you have I mean, I know Peacock came late to the game. I would hate to shit on Peacock because I like it a lot. But they're another one that came late that's just like, yeah, let's just keep the train going. Let's just add this fuel to the fire. So it just feels
But
like, next time I'll wake up, it'll be like, oh, here's a new streaming service out. Like, son of a. It's like one of those feelings.
well, dude, no one watches cable anymore. How many people do you know that still like use and watch cable? And it's like I would love
I
to
don't
be
know,
that
man.
person. Like I was given a cable hookup when I moved into this house if I
Oh,
wanted
yeah.
to like put it in. And I was going to, but then the cable, I don't think my cable box was connecting to the actual um whatchamacallit. I can't even think of the name right now. Oh my god. The service itself, and it just was not working and I gave up on it, and I wish I could like actually use cable because I do enjoy it. Um because it doesn't give me that choice, dude. It's like, okay, what's
Hmm.
on? That's it. And it's like that's what I'm watching. I don't have to like
That's how
flip
it
through
feels on
everything.
vacation, like when you go to a hotel room, like the ones that don't have
Yeah.
a Fire Stick or a smart TV on the wall. It's like you just get to throw up a random channel, and it's like, oh, sick, golf, or like, oh, sick,
Sweet.
Spanish volleyball, and it's just like, what the?
Dude, sweet. Ace Ventura's on. I'm gonna start in the middle of the movie and watch the rest of it.
Yeah, yeah, that's another classic. Starting a movie like
Dude,
3 quarters in, you already missed all
yeah.
the most important parts of the plot.
You may have, but then you might hit the funniest spot in the movie, or like the most serious
Yep.
spot in the movie, or like whatever, the show, whatever you're watching. Like, who cares? I can just jump in. I don't need any context. I'm there.
That's how I first saw like a lot of the Adam Sandler movies. Like I don't think I've
Yeah.
ever seen I can't think of what the movie is called when he like goes back to school and he goes from first through 12th grade. Billy Madison. I
Yeah,
think
Billy
I've only
Madison,
ever
yeah.
seen that movie, halfway. Um, I was like that for Happy Gilmore for a while, but then I was like, I have to watch this. It's golf. So I've seen that movie a bunch now. And then the other one was Big Daddy. Like at the time, I had only seen like a quarter of Big Daddy, and I pieced it together. Now I've seen a bunch, like the whole movie a bunch of times. But
Yeah.
when I was watching cable and being that dude who was scrolling through stuff or putting on things before bed, or it was just a day where nothing was on my good channels. It was just like, all right, let it run, just let it do its
Dude,
thing.
it's great. I mean, I love just like flipping over to Comedy Central and catching like the last 15 like or 5 minutes of Tosh Point oh,
Yep.
or even like South Park or what else do they have on Comedy Central? I'm trying to think.
Back when they would run the
Um,
Chappelle Show skits.
yeah, Chappelle Show. They had I think they were playing movies Jackass as well. I don't know if that was
Oh,
on
right,
Comedy
right, right, right.
Central or MTV. I'm trying to think.
I don't know if Comedy Central's still doing like the Key and Peele playbacks too.
Yeah, they did a lot of those too. But like it's stuff like that that just is perfect, and I love like just kind of catching everything. And then it's also great when you catch one of those like right off the bat, like it just started and you just turned on the TV. That's like, the best feeling in the world.
Oh yes, yep. Because then it's like, got here in time, boom. I know, I remember when we used to like have to watch certain episodes like at certain times during the week, like when we did our Walking Dead binging and stuff like
Dude, yeah, I
that.
was gonna say
It
The
was like
Walking
Sundays
Dead,
at 9, and it was like, all
Sundays
right,
at
well, I'll be
9.
on the couch at 8:55, like ready for the show to start up. But there wasn't always like an opportunity for that. With a lot of shows, like I wasn't really into a lot of stuff coming up until like that one was like a first big one on cable that was a scheduled program that I was watching. Of
Right.
course, other stuff was like being homesick, like during the week from school or something like that, or even just like from work. When I was still had cable access. It was just like watching The Price is Right in the morning, watching like Family Feud. I think I can't remember if Jeopardy or Wheel of Fortune was morning stuff, but it was all those early game shows where some random people, from crowds would get to come and play, and you have the oldies like Bob Barker out there, and I remember Drew Carey, used to host some stuff when he was still young. Um, so it's like those little things, just remembering back to. I know we still have the opportunity to check out stuff like that with streaming services, and it's all on demand. We could watch whatever,
Yeah.
whatever episode ever. But it was also an experience like watching shows completely out of order, just watching to watch, and kind of getting that little dopamine surge from just sitting down and just enjoying some good TV.
Dude, yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, like you brought up like The Price is Right. That was like every morning waking up at grandma's, dude.
Oh yeah.
Grandma Schmidt's. Like every morning she had The Price is Right on, and it was like blaring through the TV. It was never like at a low volume. It was blaring, and like I don't know. Like every time I see The Price is Right, I think of her. But it's
6.99.
like
6.99. I'm gonna go a penny lower.
no, up, down.
They're going and pointing the car, no, the vacuum cleaner.
Oh, up. Okay, all right, yeah.
They were totally off every time.
Dude, every
But it
time,
was stuff
like
like
never
that
listen
where
to
it was,
audience.
I don't think I ever really watched like a full episode of Price is Right or a full episode of Jeopardy or anything of those morning shows. It was
Dude,
like,
you've never you've never
I'd be able
watched the
to.
person win the showcase?
I mean, I think if I did see someone win the showcase, I just tuned in for like the end of it. Like everyone got to the
Damn.
end, and the finalists who actually like played all the games like correctly and answered right and stuff. I got to catch them right at the end doing their thing, and it was just like, yeah. And then I'd leave the room to go do something else. But I don't know. I feel like I was never like a huge like TV guy. Don't get me wrong. I'll sit down and watch a movie. I'll watch a couple episodes in a row. I'll binge here and there. But I'm also not sitting around just ripping television all the time. Like I can't
True.
say, that I really like to. I'm a busybody. I like to get up and like just be active. Or if I'm not being active, I feel like I always have something to do that's like a responsible adult thing. So it's just like I don't want to sit down and like rip 8 episodes of, hour-long shows and just be like, wow, where did the time go? It's like that right there. is an 8-hour day. That's eight shows in a row is an entire work shift, and that scares me. Like if I ever did that, I would feel like the biggest piece of crap alive. I would just be like, what did I do today? And I would feel like a lump. I would just be a blob in my chair, and I would be like, wow, just admiring the sheer. I don't even know. Like it's not really laziness at that point. It's more just like a haze. You know, you just end up in this really bad, maybe days even, and it's just you're
Dude,
there, you're existing. Television is all you know in those 8 hours.
I don't even think I don't think my general attention span could just watch a show. Like just literally watch a show for 8 hours of a day. And it's like my mind would be doing like 80 million other things while I'm watching the show. So it's like I'm either on my phone, doing stuff whether it's like sending emails, purchasing for something soon. Like I've done a lot of I did a little shopping for like Morgan's birthday that passed not too long ago. Literally, okay, I guess it was like last weekend, but I'm seeing him this weekend. I bought something for like a wedding that I'm attending in September, for the bride and groom. And so I'd be doing stuff like that, or looking for other things that I might need, whatever it is, or doing something on my laptop, writing or whatever. Could be literally anything. I could just be playing rudiments on my drum pad, but my mind is still not focused for 8 hours a day just watching Price is Right.
Right.
And just sitting there mindless. I could not do that.
But you make a good point. If you're doing other stuff while you're watching TV, that's a totally different story. If you got TV in the background, you're being productive and whatnot. That's cool. Sometimes I'll put leave the TV on to sleep. Sometimes I'll just have the TV on while I'm cooking dinner or whatever.
Yeah.
So it's one of those things. If you're actively paying attention to television and you can do that for 8 hours, and by all means waste your life away. And I'm not, trying to bash anybody or anything, but for me, that's what it would feel like, that I'd be wasting my life away.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing other stuff while the TV's on, that's a different story. But I realize now that we are, a little over. But
it's okay. 2 minutes is not much.
It's one of those things, just a little TV vibes for the people, and hopefully nobody started hating streaming services after they listened to this episode, but has a newfound appreciation for what they were and where they've come. So, but yeah, close it out, Ian. Whatever remarks you got, I'm all set.
Yeah, we may have strayed, but we hope you enjoyed our talks of streaming services and cable. Sounds extremely enticing, doesn't it? But besides that point, thank you guys so much for tuning in today. We hope you enjoyed the episode. As always, if you're listening on YouTube, check us out over on Spotify. And if you're listening on Spotify, check us out all the way on YouTube. Leave a like, comment, and subscribe. Give us a follow on Spotify. That'd be great. We'd love more listeners. But until next time, we'll catch you guys on the flippy flop. So peace.